Please share your thoughts in comments and like this video. In a distant forest, the tale unfurls. Here, a lady harnessed her exceptional tracking skills to locate a fearsome pig beast, a harbinger of turmoil. Her discovery was swiftly relayed to a young archer named Magu, distinguished by his brown hair and striking blue eyes. Armed with his trusty bow, he ventured forth to confront this menace. Magu's proficiency was widely acknowledged by the villagers, who hailed him as the town's preeminent hunter. The praise was music to his ears, a testament to his dedication. Within their party, a spirited debate ensued. One member urged Magu to join their ranks, promising riches beyond measure. Yet another advocated for enlistment in her father's vigilant corps. However, Magu remained non-committal, pledging to provide an answer once he had received his divine skill. This day marked his coming of age, a milestone achieved at the age of 15. In this world, adulthood bore a precious gift from the gods, unique skills that ranged from honing swordsmanship to bestowing extraordinary medical talents or culinary mastery. Yet, lurking among these coveted skills were the less fortunate, those that came burdened with a price. Curiosity beckoned his companions to inquire about Magu's aspirations. His wish was simple, noble even, a skill that would benefit their city, driven not by greed, but by the selfless spirit of his parents. Magu's parents, once the city's revered first and second vigilant corps champions, had embodied heroism, kindness, and selflessness. Their tragic demise occurred during the relentless onslaught of the colossal lizard men, an unprecedented threat that laid siege to Noda, their city. Magu, then a mere child, was saved from the lizardmen's clutches by his mother's heroic sacrifice. In the heat of battle, his father confronted the monster, an act of valor that ultimately cost both their lives. Resilience, however, defined Magu's upbringing, bolstered by the unwavering support of his fellow city dwellers. The same city his parents had defended with their last breaths continued to nurture and sustain him. His heart swelled with a singular desire, to repay their kindness and safeguard the city they had cherished. Magu was assured by his companions that even an unconventional skill, like a decoy, would be welcomed. He harbored no reservations, for today was a day of jubilation as he transitioned into adulthood. With optimism coursing through his veins, he embarked on the sacred rite of passage within the temple. Fate, however, held an unexpected twist. The priest's shock was palpable as he bestowed upon Magu a skill that left him crestfallen. A cruel irony, Magu's skill was decoy, a dreaded affliction that lured monsters incessantly, a surefire path to peril. It was a skill that spelled doom, a veritable death sentence. Though he longed to defy this fate, the skills were predetermined, immutable by human hands. Stepping out of the temple, Magu surveyed the city that had nurtured him. The weight of his seemingly insurmountable skill bore down on him. As he arrived home, he witnessed people hurriedly packing his belongings, readying a cart. Their intentions were clear: to exile him to a solitary life in the mountains hunting shack. Resistance welled within him, but an authoritative voice silenced his protests. The village chief, apprised of Magu's decoy skill, feared that the city's safety rested on the precipice of peril. The risk of attracting colossal monsters, akin to the lizard that had robbed Magu of his parents, was too great. Thus, the decision was unanimous: Magu had to leave. The village's collective judgment struck Magu like a dagger through the heart. The very city he had sworn to protect now condemned him as the harbinger of their potential demise. He was held accountable for any impending monster assaults, his decoy skill perceived as a calamity in the making. Friends and neighbors, once allies, turned their backs on him. Even the girl who had initiated his quest to serve the city now beseeched him to remain absent. The world he had known had crumbled around him, and he was left to grapple with the bewildering turn of events. Bitterly, Magu questioned the twist of fate that had led him down this path. He yearned to emulate his parents' bravery, to shield the city from harm, to repay the love and support that had nurtured him since childhood. Yet, his skill, a curse in disguise, threatened to unravel everything. As he trudged away from the city, tears welled in his eyes, and a curse for the gods who had burdened him with such a skill formed on his lips. Into the unforgiving forest, Magu ventured, unaware that his presence, marked by the odious decoy skill, had already begun to draw malevolent attention. It was in this unfamiliar terrain, far removed from their natural habitat, that a dark cobalt emerged from the shadows, launching a savage assault. Magu grappled with the imminent danger, torn between the desire to survive and the perceived curse that haunted him. Without delay, he sprinted towards the city on the horizon, aware that his demise could herald an assault by a horde of kobolds on the very city his parents had sacrificed themselves to protect. The hunting shack, a refuge he had visited before, materialized in the distance. His relief at reaching this sanctuary was short-lived, as the relentless kobold pursued him, closing in. Desperation surged within him, amplified by the burden of his ill-fated skill. Fending off the beast with his bow, he realized the weapon had sustained significant damage. In that dire moment, Magu contemplated the possibility of accepting his fate, of surrendering to the inevitable. Yet, in his mind, his mother's final words resonated, a plea to live on. Summoning every ounce of courage, he drew his sword, determined to thwart this creature and fulfill the wishes of his departed parents. For the sake of the city and his parents' sacrifice, he braved the battle with unwavering resolve. As the battle raged on, Magu grappled with fatigue, relentlessly hounded by a relentless horde of monsters. His determination remained unshaken, a testament to his indomitable spirit. In the midst of the tumult, a child's voice unexpectedly pierced the chaos, commending his unyielding resolve. Suddenly, a colossal explosion rent the air, a veritable chasm between Magu and his assailants. Amidst the smoke and debris stood a young girl, her hair a radiant yellow, her eyes an intense crimson. 2 ebony horns adorned her head, and she extended a hand toward Magu, her voice dripping with sweetness. She pledged her assistance, a glimmer of hope in the midst of darkness. Magu was taken aback by the unexpected sight of a young girl deep within the forest. As he turned to face this mysterious encounter, a kobold suddenly lunged at him from behind. Through a swift dodge, he narrowly evaded its attack. Magu's concern for the girl grew. He feared for her safety in this perilous situation. Desperate to warn her, he called out, but she insisted on dodging instead. To his astonishment, the girl wielded an incredible magical power, using it to retaliate against the pursuing kobold with tremendous force. She assured Magu that everything was now under control. His surprise deepened as he watched her unleash her magical abilities. 3 more kobolds leaped at him, but she remained determined to protect him, wielding her magic to vanquish the menacing creatures. Magu couldn't help but wonder about the girl's true identity. Her mastery of magic was beyond anything he'd ever seen. She continued to employ her formidable magical arsenal, causing Magu to be flung away by the sheer force of one of her spells. Concerned for his well-being, she glanced over at him, causing the sword he held to be sent flying a considerable distance. Magu was bewildered by the unfolding events. As he struggled to comprehend the situation, the girl rushed toward him, addressing him as her big brother. Overwhelmed, he succumbed to unconsciousness. Some time later, he awoke to find the same young girl from before, with him asleep on her knees. Profoundly moved, he apologized for his earlier skepticism. He had believed he could handle the kobolds, but they had proven to be formidable opponents. Magu's memory stirred, and he inquired about the whereabouts of the kobolds. The girl gestured to a location where all the kobolds lay lifeless. It was a clear indicator of her astonishing strength. Magu couldn't help but wonder if she was a magician. In their world, magic was wielded by those with exclusive mage skills. However, she appeared so young that Magu questioned whether she had reached the requisite age of 15, the only means for humans to gain such skills. She disclosed that she hadn't used magic before but felt comfortable revealing her abilities to Magu, as she sensed no malevolent intent from him. Intrigued, she asked him to step back a bit. Magu couldn't fathom her intentions, but she assured him it was a special secret for her brother, and proceeded to reveal her true form. Suddenly, a radiant light enveloped her, a display of power that transcended the abilities of an ordinary mage. Magu watched as her body transformed, growing in size and stature. Curious about his opinion, she drew her majestic yellow dragon form closer to him. Overwhelmed by the breathtaking sight, Magu touched her and marveled at the divine beast before him. She, in turn, seemed puzzled by his choice of words. Magu explained that divine beings were legendary creatures found in myths and legends, possessing language and power rivaling that of dragons. In response to his words, she reverted to her human form and introduced herself as Loa, preferring this title to dragon or divine beast. Magu also introduced himself but insisted that she keep her distance. Puzzled by his request, Loa questioned why. Magu explained that his skill, known as decoy, invariably attracted monsters, and he worried about her safety if she remained by his side. Her initial reaction was one of anger, and she pouted as she asked whether he believed she could be defeated so easily. Magu quickly assured her that he did not question her strength but merely wanted to avoid causing her any trouble. Loa, however, admitted that she was drawn to Magu's voice, which she had heard expressing a determination to survive and never give up. She explained that she could hear these words through his decoy skill, which was why she had approached him. Magu remained perplexed, struggling to understand the connection between his skill and her actions. Loa clarified that dragons referred to the decoy skill as callers. This skill's effects extended beyond attracting monsters, it could also be used to summon distant divine beings. She emphasized the skill's importance for the coexistence of humans and beasts. Magu found her words reminiscent of a fairy tale, but Loa assured him that she spoke from her knowledge as a dragon from her hometown. Still confused about why monsters could hear his voice, Magu pondered whether his dream of protecting the city had somehow influenced the kobold's actions. He wondered if other decoy skill holders had been similarly saved by beings like Loa. Moreover, he questioned the prevailing belief that decoy skill holders had short lifespans, despite being aided by divine beings. Loa explained that many people with the decoy skill harbored selfish desires, obsessed with acquiring possessions and power. Dragons like her did not aid individuals with such motives. However, she affirmed that Magu had passed this test. His desire was simply to live life to the fullest without coveting others' possessions. Loa took Magu's hand and expressed her desire to learn more about him, appreciating his sincerity and honesty. Magu reflected on his lifelong wish to give back to his town, despite his perceived lack of skill and the belief that his death would be more helpful than his presence. He wondered if he could be of use to someone once again. Loa reassured him that he could indeed make a difference. Touched by her words, Magu rose to his feet and formally requested her assistance, asking for her power. Loa was deeply moved and hugged him tightly, promising to take care of him. However, he struggled to stand due to his injuries, prompting Loa to suggest that he rest for the remainder of the day. Magu showed her the hunter's sack assigned to him, and together they decided to head there. Thus, Magu embarked on a new chapter of his life, one intertwined with the enigmatic and powerful presence of Loa. The following morning, Magu slept peacefully inside their dwelling. Suddenly, the door burst open with force, startling him awake. He was stunned to find a girl with short red hair and yellow eyes standing at the entrance. She confidently declared herself to be Magu's new big sister, leaving him in shock once again. Magu's curiosity led him to inquire about the girl's identity. In her true form, she revealed her name, Fianna, the Phoenix, using magic within the house to showcase her transformation. Fianna explained she had crossed the sea, drawn by the passion in Magu's words, arriving in just a month, a feat that puzzled Magu, considering it typically took a month to walk there. He wondered about the extent of Fianna's abilities as a skill caller. Fianna, anticipating astonishment, was surprised by Magu's composed reaction, realizing he had already resolved his dangerous situation. Suddenly, a voice called Magu brother. It was Loa, in her nightdress, awakened by the commotion. Fianna assumed Magu had been having fun with Loa. Before Magu could clarify, Loa discovered a phoenix feather, leading to her questioning whether Fianna truly was the one. This unexpected query surprised Fianna, who wondered if Loa was a dragon. Tension filled the air as both Fianna and Loa emitted tremendous energy. Their animosity stemmed from the historical conflict between phoenixes and dragons, who had battled for supremacy in the sky for millennia. Their fierce clash damaged the house until Magu ordered them to cease. He hastily repaired the damage, fearing he might lose his sanctuary once again. Apologies followed from Fianna and Loa for their behavior. Magu, curious, questioned Fianna about why she referred to him as master when she had come to help him, suggesting she address him by his name. However, Fianna explained it was a custom of some immortality isle. If there was a caller capable of reading blood and mind, they were obligated to acknowledge it. She couldn't casually use his name. Fianna clarified she was there because she sensed the strong, passionate heart of the caller, someone who wanted to live, and chose to assist him. She wasn't comfortable with Loa staying with them. Magu stressed the importance of divine beasts' assistance for his survival, expressing his gratitude for their help. Despite his awareness of his greed, he wished to stay with them, urging them to coexist without bias. Loa, displaying a calmer temperament than other dragons, agreed to remain with them. Fianna, not wanting to back down, also consented. Magu thanked them both, heading off to prepare breakfast. Their meal was modest, and Magu contemplated the need to store provisions for the future, including establishing a self-sustaining field and well. He possessed enough knowledge of the area to forage for wild vegetables and water in the nearby forest, a plan Fianna and Loa approved of. After breakfast, Magu attempted to move a cart but struggled. Despite their desire to help, he declined, emphasizing the need for their assistance if a demon should appear. He promised to aid them in any way he could. Fianna, concerned about his unhealed wounds, urged him not to overexert himself. Magu reassured her, instructing her not to pity him. Fianna blushed when he patted her, yet Magu saw it as beneficial rehabilitation exercise and continued. The two divine beasts inquired about why Magu hadn't visited the city to acquire necessities, learning he had been ostracized by its people. Though Fianna desired to confront the city dwellers, Magu understood their feelings, choosing to show them the nearby river. The serene scene eased their anger. Magu's primary goal for the day was securing water, with plans to catch fish and gather vegetables. Despite Fianna's reluctance, Loa took a bath in the river, eventually coaxing Fianna in, much to her dismay, as water weakened her fire power. While they enjoyed their time, Magu tried to catch fish at the river's edge. Once he had filled all available containers with water, Fianna approached, and although Magu welcomed her, he was embarrassed by her wet appearance. He felt conflicted, and Fianna, noticing his discomfort, inquired. Magu gestured to her clothing, leading to a playful exchange where Fianna teased him, suggesting his embarrassment indicated affection. Loa joined the teasing, and Magu found himself caught between the two. Eventually, Magu successfully collected food and water, acknowledging the divine beast's invaluable assistance. Fianna and Loa offered their continued support, and Magu expressed his appreciation. Suddenly, Fianna sensed a nearby presence and swiftly protected Magu, urging him to stay back. He was alarmed, eventually recognizing the approaching threat as some form of monster. This puzzled him, as they had just encountered a group of kobolds the day before. Though Lia wished to fight, Fianna insisted she remain close to Magu, determined not to let the monster ruin their hard-earned provisions. The monster revealed itself as a man-eating troll. Magu suspected that these monsters were drawn to him as newcomers to the area. Fianna, despite being weakened by water, attacked the troll with fire magic, but her flames extinguished quickly. Magu, wielding a sword without certainty of its effectiveness, moved to assist. The troll targeted Fianna with its club, prompting her to reveal her true form and unleash a powerful fire attack from a high vantage point. She intended to test whose power would prevail in this fiery showdown, her flames or the troll's regenerative abilities. Ultimately, Fianna emerged victorious, incinerating the troll. However, they still had to contend with the troll's minions that surrounded them. Magu decided it was time to retreat, but they encountered further monster attacks along the way. Thanks to Fianna and Loa, they managed to secure their provisions and return home safely. Back at their home, Magu realized that every journey seemed to lead to disaster. He was determined to address the monster problem before they could settle down. Loa proposed a solution. She would eliminate the monsters by flying near the Mau Mountains, effectively marking it as her territory. Fianna expressed concern about this decision since dragons could establish their territories only once, where they would spend the rest of their lives. Magu worried as well and contemplated an alternative plan. However, Loa explained that she intended to claim the territory as an adult dragon, desiring to live with her brother Magu in the area surrounding the mountains. She had been thriving there and was content. With her intention to stay in the house, she felt it was only natural to claim the territory around it. Magu was taken aback by Loa's determination and watched as she stood up, asking him to consider her an adult now that she had secured her territory. Fianna playfully teased Loa about her actions, prompting Magu to intervene and calm them both. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe buttons to follow this captivating story. Click the notification bell for more intriguing tales.